What's up, millennials? Almost 3 weeks ago we talked about Skillz likely going lower in the short term but higher in the long term, and so far so good. Today we're going to talk about the potential short squeeze and my updated view on the chart of Skillz, so let's do it. Just a while ago we had the short seller report on Skillz, and just a few days ago on Saturday, ARK Invest came out with their weekly stock commentary, and they were also talking about Skillz. They defended Skillz. They said that the claims are exaggerated or even incorrect, and they also said that there probably is a misunderstanding of the company, its position in the gaming ecosystem, and its future ambitions. And the CEO of Skillz also went on CNBC yesterday, and he basically said the same thing. He also was hinting at some good news during the earnings call that compared to the short seller stories, their earnings are going to tell a different story. Now, do keep in mind that the earnings are definitely more important compared to technical analysis. We are, of course, going to take a look at the chart, but yeah, whatever is said during the earnings call is going to likely drive the price action. So I would say that technical analysis is definitely less important than what is going to be said around that earnings call. And it definitely looks like we might have a potential short squeeze coming in right now. On April 21st, we had a massive candlestick to the upside. It looks like shorts were closing their positions. There's a lot of buying pressure right now, and the stock went up 33% in just one day on that 21st of April. And now we see a potential reversal going on. So a few weeks ago, I also talked about the technical analysis of Skillz. This was on April 10th when I published this video, and I was telling you that there was likely going to be some downside in the short term, but I was targeting a move potentially to $14.30 because of some support over there. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later on. If you haven't seen this video, maybe check out that video first and then come back to this video, because I explain in that video why I think it was going to go down in the short term. And by the way, I'm launching a program about technical analysis for absolute beginners pretty soon, so if you also want to learn how to read charts like me, sign up at nasami.com/TA to stay up to date. So what I'd like to do now is to give you an updated overview of the technical analysis of the Skillz stock right now. So as we can see, it did actually go to $14.30, which was the support right over here. We did actually go lower for one day. We went below that, but actually the day afterwards, on the 21st of April, we had that massive candlestick of 33% with a lot of volume too. So that was definitely a good sign that we might have seen the bottom at that time. And right now in the trading days after that 21st of April, we have seen a pretty impressive move, to be honest with you. We are already creating a higher high compared to this high over here, so that is going to be construed in the next coming trading days probably, and then I'm wondering if we're also going to see a higher low compared to this low over here, which is very likely going to be the case, but yeah, we never can be too sure about that. Then let's also talk about the exponential moving averages, the EMAs of course, because in the previous video I was talking about the 8 daily exponential moving average. We are of course right now on the daily chart, so every vertical bar over here, every candlestick is 1 day of price action. And I was talking about this yellow line because it was being used as resistance all the way down here until the 21st of April, when we saw that massive candlestick to the upside, which closed above that yellow line, of course, that above that 8 daily exponential moving average, and that suggested that we were going to see more upside from that point on. Right now we are also seeing something else, which is a cross between the 8 daily exponential moving average and the 13 daily exponential moving average, which can definitely be seen as a good sign, because if we go back all the way here, we can see that the bottom or the top of this price action was actually indicated by this move of the 8 daily exponential moving average crossing back below the 13 daily exponential moving average, and right now we have the exact same thing going on, but then the reverse of course, so the 8 daily exponential moving average going back above the 13 daily EMA, which definitely can be seen as a good sign too. Now, if we do look to the upside right now, we can see that we are very close right now to the 55 daily exponential moving average, which often is used as resistance, but right now we are seeing a lot of strength, and usually what happens is the stronger the move to the upside, the weaker the resistance becomes. So let's see if the 55 EMA is actually going to be used as resistance or not. Let's also take a quick look at the support and resistance levels, because of course that $14.30 was definitely an important support level. I thought that the $17.80 was going to be a little bit of resistance, but of course we had such a powerful move that the $17.80 level didn't really matter, to be honest with you. So let's see if the 55 EMA is going to do something in terms of resistance, of course. If not, then I would actually target a move all the way up to about $24, which is the next level of resistance. That was actually created by this low over here all the way back in March, the beginning of March, but also by this low over here and potentially even this high over here. So let's see if $24 is going to be a stronger resistance compared to that 55 EMA. And also if we look at the Fibonacci retracement, and let's zoom out a little bit and let's pull it up. Let's see where it is over here. We can go to the Fibonacci retracement. I'm just going to bring it from the top side of the range until the bottom side of the range. And we can see that a few things line up pretty well. So let's actually put it a little bit nicer. It should be over here and over there more or less. So we can see that the 0.382 Fibonacci level is very close to that resistance level of $24.50 in this case. So I do think that is going to be a very important level in the future. And let's then also take a look at a few of the indicators as we do in all the videos about technical analysis. Let's first of all take a look at the RSI, because in the last video we were talking about the RSI still trading below the EMA on the RSI. So the RSI is this blue line over here, and the EMA, the exponential moving average, is this white line over here. And in the previous video, I said that the RSI was being held down because of this resistance of the EMA, but right now we do see a cross back to the upside, which is very strong. We also see that EMA going down in this moment of time until the 21st of April, which is when the EMA started going back up. So that is definitely a good potential sign. Now I could definitely see this RSI coming back down to the EMA on the RSI to use it as support instead of resistance. So I would definitely not mind seeing the RSI going down a little bit to cool off a bit. Also, if we go to another indicator, which is going to be the Crown Trading Stochastics, this is a private indicator, so you're probably not going to have access to this unless you have the course of Eric Crown, Crown's Crypto Cave, of course. So this actually fired a pretty good signal, which is pretty strong in general. What happened is that the fast reacting stochastic, which is this blue line over here, was crossing the slow reacting stochastic, the purple line over here, or the pink line, whatever you want to call it. And then it came back down to that purple line, used it perfectly as support, and now going back to the upside. We saw exactly the same thing happening over here, but then the reverse. So we saw the fast reacting stochastic, very difficult to say, was crossing the slowly reacting stochastic, then it used it perfectly as resistance, and that actually created this beautiful top over here all the way back in the beginning of February. So let's see if this trading, or if this signal right now on the Crown Trading Stochastic is going to be just as beautiful. And the last indicator I'm going to look at is the MACD, the Moving Average Convergence Divergence Indicator, which always is a good thing to say. Now, what we said in the previous video was that the MACD, which is this blue line over here, was still being held down below that signal line, which is the orange line, and that actually changed again on that 21st of April because of that massive candlestick, and now the MACD is trading back above that signal line, which is a good sign. So let's see if that is going to continue in the future. So what do I think is going to happen in the future? Well, I think there could be a potential short-term pullback because of that 55 EMA we have been talking about. And with short-term, I mean the next coming days or maybe even a week before the earnings call is going to happen. But honestly, so far we have been seeing a very strong move. So I do think that that 55 EMA is going to be weak resistance. So we might even go back all the way down to, all the way up to $24 instead because of that Fibonacci retracement and also because of the previous resistance level. Now longer term, so in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months even, I am looking for more upside because right now all the indicators are looking pretty good to me. Now do keep in mind that the earnings is going to be pretty important because usually what is said during the earnings is going to be way more important compared to the technical analysis of the stock. And also keep in mind that technical analysis definitely does not work in 100% of the cases. It can be very powerful, it can give you an edge, but you should always use it in confluence with the other things: valuation analysis, technical analysis, financials of course, and the fundamentals of the company all together. And again, don't forget, if you want to be able to read charts like me, sign up at nesami.com/TA. Now I'm very much looking forward to your opinion about this stock. How high do you think we are going to go before the earnings call? Let me know in the comments. And with that being said, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye!